Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing fantastic. So today we will be diving into the train wreck that was America's Next Top Model Cycle 3. So after my last video, when I talked about America's Next Top Model Cycle 6, Cycle 3 was the next most requested. And this is one of the cycles that I do not remember watching as a child. I don't know if I tried to watch it and hated it, or I did watch it and blocked it out of my memory, and I will never know. So a little disclaimer. Firstly, I am very much aware that this is a reality show and not actually a modeling competition. It's a reality show first and then a modeling competition second. For the most part, I feel like the producers didn't want to actually create top models. They wanted money. And my issue is that they present the show to girls as a surefire way to the top to have this big booming career, but that's obviously not guaranteed. As we've seen with previous winners who finished the show, got the $100,000 check, and then modeling just did not go that well for them. Just for these girls to get on the show and be made to do gimmicks on the runways, given edits that were not true to their personalities, and be berated by these judges on a daily basis. Yes, they were adults, they knew what they were getting into, and at the end of the day, this show is a product of its time. I'm just forever shocked at the irresponsibility of these judges, these producers at their grown-ass ages to negatively impact young girls like this. I don't know, I'm being too sensitive, I know, I'm very much aware. I would have been one of these girls who they would have for sure made cry. But yeah, I feel like the producers of this show were severely lacking empathy, but you have to get rid of empathy to make a check, so whatever. I'm gonna complain about it now, okay? Allow it. So here are my credentials. I have been modeling since 2019. I've been modeling professionally, I've been signed, and so if you're wondering why I'm acting like a know-it-all in this video, it's because I do know it all. Thank you. No further questions. I'm kidding. Before I begin, go follow my Instagram. I'm trying to grow that platform. If you want mostly pictures of me, I can't lie. Like I said, I'm a model as well, so if you want modeling content of like my shows and my shoots, food and traveling, just like general life stuff, go follow me on there. Thank you.
Toto down my shoes, Euro step my move. I just caught the ring, yeah, my fingers hold on the finer things. That's just what I do. When and down like three, me and my brother shoot. Toto down my shoes, Euro step my move.
So in episode 1, we see the girls that were chosen to progress with the competition, and they meet up with Tyra. And when she walks in, some of these girls start bowing to her. I get it's a joke, but relax. Have some couth. Be mindful of why you were invited to the section. Although I'm sure Tyra Banks loved that. I don't have my stick. Should we use a hanger? So immediately my favorite faces are Yaya, Eva, and Amanda. We are then introduced to the 2 plus-size models in this cycle. Their names are Mary and Takara. And with Takara, it's very clear that she loves herself. She is such a confident woman. She's not intimidated by these girls. At the first audition, the girls are introducing themselves, and I notice a familiar face. Tiffany. This season is super hectic right off the bat. A group of the girls are at a bar, and some of the girls start a dance off, and then all of a sudden one of the random girls that's dancing with Tiffany throws a glass jug at her. Tiffany literally starts bleeding, and in the bus on the way back to the hotel, a model asks Tiffany, "Do you not think you did anything to provoke her?" And Tiffany goes off at her, rightfully so. Like, everybody in this bus was there. Did you not see that they were just doing an innocent dance off before this girl decided to throw a glass at her? Like, how are you gonna tell her how she should react to random aggression? Anyways, it just came off as microaggressive to me. At a second audition, we see another familiar face.
I want to go home. Like, I can't take the pressure of it. But don't you think any job interview...
Tyra then says to one of the models, who is incredibly skinny, "I think that your body sends a negative message to women." And this is after the model Amy had said that she doesn't have any eating disorders. And, you know, we can see what she looks like. I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a doctor. I cannot confirm just by looking at her whether this girl has an eating disorder or not. And it's certainly not the place of Tyra, this power figure, to be like, your body, like, you are to blame for this. Your body is going to send like a negative message to women. Meanwhile, this girl could literally be struggling. And this is what you're telling her. Also, you knew what she looked like before you cast her. I don't think these casting take too long. It's like months. I mean, I'm sure you saw what she looked like before, so why then cast her on this show, allow her to come this far just to say this on TV? Like, are you trying to make yourself look like a hero? What's going on? Later at dinner, Ava starts talking shit about Amy because of her weight in front of everybody, and Amy's just standing there to the side hearing all of this. At this point, I was really mad at Ava. I was really hoping that she would be one of my favorites. At our third round of auditions, auditions, we get this lovely sight. Ava comes in, and I hate that I love her walk. She comes in with so much energy, so much passion. Tyra tells her that most of the girls that she met so far had only negative things to say about Ava. She responds once again by throwing shots at Amy, calling her nasty in front of the judges, like, who raised you? Not to excuse it, obviously, but this seems like it was a product of the time. Eating disorders were not taken seriously at all. It is a disorder. They need help, not for you to fucking mouth it off to everybody you talk with. It's crazy. So we get a glimpse of therapist Tyra when she's talking to Ava. She's like, who hurt you? Ava's like, everyone, my family, my dad, my brothers. And Tyra's like, okay, let's try not to make the other girls in the house feel like how your family has made you feel. Let's not spread that hurt. Tyra gives her a hug, and I think Tyra handled this so well. I really thought she was gonna start yelling at Ava. Later, Ava does apologize to all the girls. She does it when they're as a group, and Amy's not buying it. She's not impressed, and I don't think she ever gave a personal apology to Amy, and I think she definitely deserved that. I mean, if she did, it wasn't shown. The next day, the first cull of the season happens, and only 20 girls are chosen. The semifinalists are pretty much the only girls that got any screen time. However, some notable girls not chosen were Amy and Tiffany, although Tiffany does come back in the next cycle, cycle 4, when Tyra famously yells at her, I have never in my life had to yell at anyone like I'm yelling at you like this. Learn from this.
Calm the fuck down.
Ooh, I hate it when older adults, just because they're older, they feel like they can talk to you like you're their child. No. Yeah, if that were me, I would yell at her back and be more than happy to go home, because you do not talk to fellow adults. Like, you shouldn't be talking to children like that, but like fellow adults. Yes, you're doing them a huge favor, but at the end of the day, these girls are providing you a service. If you were canceled and girls decided to stop auditioning for this show, you have no show. So like, treat these girls with a little respect. Damn. So before everyone leaves, Amanda reveals that she is legally blind to the girls. So the semifinalists go through their first photo shoots, which are some really cute digitals. As you can see, Ava's eating. They're all eating, to be absolutely fair. They're just so simple, and the makeup's really light. It's just a stunning array of women. Stunning. In the next call, the girls have to be cut down to 14. During deliberation, Takara and Mary are compared. Are we surprised at this show? No, of course they single out the only plus-size women and compare them. Speaking of sending a negative message to women,
Takara and Mary.
I like Mary.
I think Mary is more beautiful, and her body is incredible. Proportion is great.
these are the girls that they end up picking. Surprisingly, Mary's not here, but Takara is. So what was all that proportional talk about? What was the point of it all? This is a good message for women, Tyra. In this episode, the girls are in New York and meet up with Tyra on a random rooftop. I was scared. Tyra tells them that their first assignment is going to be a bikini shoot in Jamaica, and off they go. They get on the plane to Jamaica. Actually, I could just use this pointy thing. Yeah, I'll just use this pointy thing. You can see that blue thing. Yeah, I'll point with that. So, led by Ava, when the girls are in a bus on the way to the airport, it's not all the girls, just a group of them. They start making fun of Kelly, calling her whitewashed. And when I was watching this scene for the first time, I was like, oh my God, Ava, stop talking. But after getting to know Kelly, I wouldn't be surprised if she was the first one to define herself as whitewashed. And obviously, I'm not speaking for Kelly now, like she's a grown woman. I think she's in her late 30s right now. This was obviously a girl who grew up in an environment where nobody looked like her. And she's so incredibly beautiful and talented and smart. I just hate that this is the way she feels about herself. Things she will say in the future is you will hear. It's just coming across as internalized self-hate, which I do not blame her for. She is young, product of her environment. I'm sure she's learned as she's grown up. On Zero Sleep, the girls head over to Jamaica, and annoying as I think Ava is at this current point in time, her and Anne have a really cute friendship. Anne has kind of a panic attack on the plane. Ava really soothes her, helps her through it, and she ends up falling asleep. At their photo shoot here, Mr. J tells them after the shoot, one of the girls will be eliminated, so they really have to pull out their best for this. And off the girls go. This is just Kelly here shooting. I hope my head's not covering it. No. The shoot is a high fashion swimwear by the water. It's their first shoot, so the girls are quite awkward, second guessing themselves. Understandable. They don't know the people that are around them. They're gonna be awkward. Although wearing these heels on rocks is diabolical. Yaya eats. She's such a natural at this. Kelly gets called a hoochie mama by Mr. J and Tyra. For what? A brunch the next day, Jay stops by to give the girls an envelope, and he says that whoever's name is in the envelope is the girl that will be immediately eliminated. Drops off the envelope, leaves. The girls open it, and the card says Magdalena. So off she goes. The girls fly back to New York, and in their limo, they get their first Tyra mail, which tells them that they'll be staying in the Waldorf Astoria. For some reason, whenever I hear about this hotel, I just think, oh, that's Blair Waldorf's family's hotel. Like, that's where they got their money. But it's obviously not. And it's not even lore in the TV show. The girls enter their hotel room. This apartment is massive. As you can see here, this is one of the rooms. It's very cute. Reminds me of Powerpuff Girls just a little bit. There are these themed rooms with 4 beds each, and they run around picking beds. The thing though is that there are 13 girls, and while the girls are picking the rooms, Ava is wandering around getting distracted. Obviously it's new, it's fresh, she just wants to explore, but she should have had her priorities straight. So yeah, Ava's the last one to pick a room. Thankfully she finds a bed in this big sort of office looking room, which they call the family room, and gets really upset that Ava didn't choose a room with her. Like really upset, and she starts crying, and Ava's just there like, what? It's almost like she doesn't care about this. She's like, Anne, why the hell are you freaking out about this?
And you'll be at my wedding, like I swear to God, like I love you. And like it kills me to walk around this house knowing that I can't like talk to you.
It appears that Anne thought that they were closer than they actually were, and Anne obviously cares about this friendship a lot more than Ava does. I watched an Oliver Twist interview. He interviewed Anne years later after she came off the show, and she was talking about how Ava and her bonded on the flight. I think they were coming from the same city, so they flew together to LA to compete in this show, so they had already formed a bond. They were closer together than any of the girls here, so I guess that gives it a little bit more context. Later, Anne's wearing this specific kind of dress that was really in fashion last year and like the year before. I just love the cyclical nature of fashion. So the next day, the girls are driving around New York City, and they're on kind of a little tour, and Kelly takes it upon herself to be the tour guide. She's like, this is where this shopping mall is, and this is where I used to walk every day, and blah, blah, blah. And the girls are like, just not having it. They're like, oh, Kelly talks too much. She acts like a preppy white girl. And the thing is, Kelly is very wealthy. It seems like she came from a wealthy family, and she owns an art gallery at like 21. And yeah, all the girls have a problem with it. I get it, especially considering some of the things that Kelly says, which you will see. Back home, the girls get a delivery, and it's a T-Mobile phone, and the girls are so shocked to see a phone that has internet on it. I'm just like, that's so crazy how far technology has come. This was only 20 years ago. I'm so scared to see what phones will look like in another 20 years. Like, where could this possibly go? Are we gonna make it thinner, bigger? It's enough. Later, Tyra walks in. She gives the girls a little pep talk, as you can see here, and she talks about making the most of your insecurities, and the girls go around speaking on their insecurities, like my ears, my forehead, my butt. And then Kelly's like, I'm insecure about my protruding mouth. And immediately I start sweating. Then she calls it a monkey mouth and says that it looks primitive. That's that self-hate. Oof. It's so sad to watch. Like, I'm not even offended as a fellow girl with a protruding mouth, but it doesn't take away from her beauty. It's just a mouth. People's faces are different. Takara and Yaya are like, girl, what the fuck did you just say? But of course, Tyra jokes about it and calls her Curious George. I'm not even... moving on. Some of the girls are talking before bed later, and we also learned that Kelly has called herself 1, a white girl with a tan, and 2, an Oreo. This girl hates herself bad. Oh my god, I feel so bad for her. The girls arrive at a judging panel to see the judges: Tyra, Nigel Barker, Nole Marin, and Empress Minnie, his cute little dog, and of course my arch nemesis, Janice Dickinson. She doesn't know I exist. She's still my arch nemesis, thank you. Delulu, yes. So Janice tells a girl that she looks 2 months pregnant, and she tells Kelly that her arm makes her look like she has a male appendage. Fun. During deliberation, they say this about Takara.
She's definitely gonna break the mold.
She's gonna break something.
Why bring a plus-sized woman onto your platform if you are going to treat her like this, if you're going to talk about her like this? Especially if you want to tout the whole message of woman empowerment, let's be consistent.
Ghetto superhero in that picture.
That's a good one. What would her name be?
Tyra Banks is not real. Nigel keeps talking about their bodies. Relax, Baldy. Sorry, that was uncalled for. I apologize, Nigel Barker. Nolan Marin, he has a lot to say about the way the girls are dressed, and I know that they have to prepare these girls to be top models to learn how to dress because they need to present well to the media. I totally get that, but let's be a little bit more chill on these girls, university students or just finished university. They are broke. Like, they don't have money. That's why they're here, to win the $100,000. The thing I do like about the show, though, is that they do give them free clothes. Like, a lot of the time, they'll do challenges, win free clothes. When they do challenges to, like, make up an outfit, oftentimes they are given money to buy those clothes. So, you know, props to them for doing that. So you will see that when I talk about the judging panels, I will have the photos of these girls in order of the call out. So Yaya was first. I think this is Christy. She was second. Julie was third. Leah was the last one. She was the one eliminated in this episode. And I'm so surprised because I feel like her photo was far from the worst. I love her pose in this. Maybe it wasn't super high fashion at the time. I don't know. So the episode begins and one of the girls is talking to Cassie about how Cassie is on a diet, and she talks about how she doesn't have a goal weight. She's going to keep losing weight until she's happy with their body. I'm not a nutritionist. Let me not give health advice. If you're struggling with these thoughts, please go see somebody. The girls get Tyra mail and it is makeover day. Tyra's describing what the girls are getting done, and for once I agree with these descriptions, these visions that she has for the girls' makeovers. Although it does seem like she has a habit of taking girls with extremely long hair that come on the show and damn near cutting it all off. For the clicks, the views, the engagement, of course, we know. I also have an issue with them giving girls who have never had extensions in their lives weave. Like, why are you sewing tracks into this white girl's hair? If she's done it before, then let me not speak, but weave is so high maintenance, and when your hair isn't like made to be in cornrows for long periods of time, I just feel like that could hurt and cause issues. Anyways, Yaya also gets taken to a dermatologist as she has some acne on her face. They give her a little treatment and other prescribed products for her to use. For the hair, they decided to take her twists out to allow her more versatility, which I do love. As someone who, my look for my modeling agency is me with my hair out, me with my afro, this is how it was presented to me when I was told, oh, like, we would prefer you to have your hair out, not in braids, not in weave, not in wigs for shoots. But then I go to shoots and hairstylists like 99% of the time do not know what to do with my hair. My hair will just be an afro because like I do it myself, I blow dry it myself, style it myself at home. They'll just be like fluffing the air around my afro like they're doing something. Norelle goes to the orthodontist and gets her braces taken out, and I think earlier Tyra said that she was about to get her braces taken out anyway, so it seems like the show just did that for Norelle for free. She gets them taken out, she gets retainers, she seems really happy with it. All right, so let's get into their new looks, starting with Jennifer here. I think she looks gorgeous, but I think the darker hair looked a bit better on her. I feel like Tyra just wanted a drastic change for her for the sake of a drastic change. They could have maybe cut a couple inches off, added a bit more volume. That's just my opinion. Kelly looks good. I'm glad they didn't shave her head because I was scared they were going to. Ava looks gorgeous. I love the color, but I feel like they should have kept the cut and just styled it a little bit. I do love her hair longer like this. Julie looks amazing. They just gave her a cut, gave her some volume. Love that. Obviously with Yaya, they took out her twists. She looks good either way. For Amanda, I will say her look is a lot more high fashion now, but personally, I just liked her red hair better. It made her look more down to earth. I think she had more of a commercial look. Now it's high fashion. There's nothing wrong with either. She looks great either way. Norelle, they cut her hair a lot, gave her more layers. I think she would have eaten a bob, like a longer bob. And this is giving Jean Grey. I love her look. She is such a stunner. I think this cut just elevated her look. Takara, I like the extra length in the cut, but I think they should have kept the darker color. Christy, I don't see a massive difference. She looks good either way. Nicole, this is one of my favorite transformations of this cycle. I love this cut and color on her. It looks so good. It really brings out her eyes. I also like that they dyed her eyebrows too. Last but not least, Cassie. Love the volume, love the blonde. She looks good. Later, the girls go to dinner and are all ordering, and Cassie gets a Diet Coke and she barely eats anything. It's the girls that start showing concern. Producers intervene. What are you doing? Why are you watching this and standing to the side? So for the next challenge, the girls have 10 minutes to do their hair, their makeup, and get dressed while in a limousine because that limousine is taking them to an industry party. The girls arrive and it's announced that Norelle wins. She picks Ava and Christy to go to the party with her dressed in these gorgeous gowns, and the losers are going to be food and beverage attendants at said party. Are they using these models for free labor? I really hope they got paid for this. The next look is a super fresh-faced beauty shot. The girls are wearing no makeup and we're up close and personal. Yaya particularly just connects with the camera so easily, so elegantly. It's just beautiful to watch. footage. Mid-shooting, we get a glimpse of Cassie telling Amanda that she does have bulimia, and she tells her not to tell anybody, but she does, and it spreads really, really quickly. It seems like within minutes it spreads. Cassie goes to the girls at the house later and she shuts that shit down. She's like, yes, I'm obsessive over my weight, but I am not bulimic. I don't even remember the last time I threw up. If you have questions and you want to talk about it to me and not behind my back. Very proud of her for doing that, especially if the girls are just talking and not actually talking about ways to get her help. Now, some of the girls are extra wary towards Amanda now, as she was the one Cassie told. I'm really shocked at her for doing this, especially because she is the oldest one here. She's around my age. The girl was 25, plus she's literally a mother. She has a kid at home. You would think all of that would bring extra maturity. Apparently not concerning this. Girl, your prefrontal cortex is formed and you're still doing this kind of shit. You have a whole child at home and you're still doing this. Oh my god. I would like to remind you once again, yes, I am criticizing someone who's young and who has had a lot of life experiences since then. I'm not criticizing the actual like living, breathing woman now. It's crazy because Amanda's always been like, oh, I'm the mother of the group. You can come to me if you need anything. Like she said that. She's the self-proclaimed mother of the group. Now this is just my little conspiracy theory, but I feel like maybe Amanda had a strategy coming in. She was watching too much Big Brother. She came in and was acting like the mother figure and like really open to get the girls to divulge secrets and things like that, and then to use it against them, get rid of the competition. But when she tried, it severely backfired and she was like, oh, let me step back, because she doesn't do anything like remotely as bad as this for the rest of the cycle, which is, yeah, interesting. Later, the girls have a challenge where they have 10 minutes to do a clean day look on one side of their face and a night look on the other. While the girls are getting judged for this, they will also be getting judged on their lost photos and how much retouching they would need, as they did do that shoot without any makeup on. They talk about this because apparently retouching is expensive and clients don't want to have to pay extra for it. But like, I looked up the cost of retouching. I don't know how different it was 20 years ago. I don't think it was ever that expensive, especially if these girls are going to be top models working with the top brands. Like, they have the money. This just feels like we're putting these girls' insecurities on the big screen, judging them on how much retouching their faces will need. Like, some girls don't have control over these things. In this panel especially, I feel like the judges are so inconsistent with their voting. Like, some of these photos, they completely roast. I think all of the girls did a fantastic job in it. When it's Kelly's turn, it kind of turns into like a little disagreement, and the judges gaslight Kelly into thinking that she started this argument when it was actually Tyra.
It's like a Hitchcock film. Go back and forth really fast. You see what I mean?
Julie, the girl over here, she mentions that when she gets into the modeling industry that she wants to also go into clothing manufacturing, and this pisses off the judges for some reason. Tyra cannot let these go. She's like, oh, so you're just using the modeling industry as a stepping stone. But it's like, you asked her where she sees herself in 5 years. A girl can't do both. This kind of sentiment coming from Tyra keeps a job banks. Like, this woman has so many jobs, so many organizations. She's an actress, she's a model, she's a writer, she has several TV shows, and this girl can't diversify her portfolio. That's crazy. Janice is being very obviously fatphobic.
You all know how I feel about large women in couture.
Nigel says this.
I don't like people to talk about themselves like, I'm this beautiful person. Let us tell you you're beautiful.
So Kelly and Julie are at the bottom too this week. I thought both their photos were great, but Tyra just took little things these girls said and turned them into massive issues. And unfortunately, Julie does get eliminated this episode. So the episode begins when the girls get some Tyra mail, which tells them to put some workout gear on and head out the house. They arrive at this venue with a little catwalk. So today Miss J will be teaching them how to walk. And they all get books on their heads to allegedly help with posture, and I feel like this is kind of useless and a bit dramatic. Let's have a look at some of Tyra's walks. Look at how she's moving. You think a book would have stayed on her head? No. I want to see real lessons, not this gimmicky shit. I'm so sorry, but like, the girls look so stiff with these books on their head. They're not able to move freely. Jay is mocking their walks without giving them practical advice on ways to fix it. The girls then go to a club where they meet with this pair of designers called Heatherette, and they were really big at the time. Narelle was a huge fan of them. They've dressed Paris Hilton, Nicole Kidman, and Gwen Stefani, and they are having a show. The theme for the night is the Circus of Panic, so things are looking a little crazy. The girls don't do any kind of rehearsal, and this is especially inconvenient for Amanda, as she is legally blind. Like, she has blind spots in her vision, as she has explained. Plus, the girls are going to be walking in a dark ass nightclub. God, I hate the producers of this show. show, why not just allow the girls to get there 30 minutes earlier? Why not just allow the legally blind girl at least to have a little run of the runway? Plus, the girls are wearing massive heels, so this is now a safety hazard on multiple parts. Yaya goes on, and I'm really impressed at what they did with her hair. Nobody helps Amanda at all. Nobody tells her how many steps she needs to walk up on the stage, because of course there are steps on the stage. Thankfully, she got on the runway, it was just one step, and also there was glitter splattered all over the stage. It was part of the decoration, but they were bouncing off the disco lights, so through the sparkles she was able to see the runway. They really thought they could catch her slipping. No, she got it. After the show, Amanda mentions to Jay, "You know I'm blind, right?" And Takara's like, "Oh, she's getting special treatment." Ava also compares her being short, Ava is 5'7", to Amanda's blindness. These girls are such pieces of work. Side note, Amanda looks amazing here. I love this look. It's giving Alice in Wonderland. Later at the house, Amanda can't find her shit. She's missing a bunch of clothes, she's missing $100, and she thinks that Ava was the culprit. I think she has okay reasoning to suspect Ava. One, they don't get along. Two, Ava was the one like dropping everybody's laundries off, so if she's missing clothes, then it checks out. But instead of talking to Ava directly, instead of asking her, she goes into her room and proceeds to look through all her stuff, her wardrobe, her bed, all of it. She then decides to set a trap for whoever is stealing from her, and she puts some money and jewelry open on her table in her room. The next morning, Jay comes over to announce the winner of last night's challenge while sitting on Ava's bed with his outside clothes on. The disrespect is crazy, although maybe not so much because Ava wins the challenge. I've been calling her Ava this whole time. It's Eva. Her name is Eva. I'm so sorry. She picks Anne and Kelly to share the prize with, and the girls will be going on an exclusive, relaxing spa day on a yacht. The budget's crazy. So while Kelly's prepping for the spa day, Amanda's like, "Make sure you don't give any information out, like to the rest of the other girls." Amanda, if I remember correctly, you are the yapper of the group. You are the one who can't keep a secret, so maybe sit this one out. Later, for some reason, Jennifer's like, "We should celebrate by getting the bitch out," in direct earshot of Eva, so she hears this. Eva confronts her and she just loses the plot, and at this point it's like she doesn't even know what she's arguing about. She's like, "If you're the bitch in this house, you shouldn't change your personality in front of the judges." And it's like, girl, you're doing the exact same thing. You're confronting Ava, you called her a bitch in front of everybody, but you act nice in front of the judges, so like we're being very hypocritical here. This blows up into a massive fight, and now Amanda's involved, and then everyone like parts ways and they're in separate rooms talking shit, and Kelly's just running around with her bougie self while everyone's fighting. She's like, "Guys, I need sunglasses." Kelly, Eva, and Anne head to their relaxing getaway. Thank God. These girls needed to be separated. Amanda later finds her crystal. It turns out she hid it the night before and forgot about it. I knew some shit like this would happen. Anyways, the three girls get back from their relaxing yacht day, and Amanda issues the worst apology I have ever heard to Eva. The next day, the girls head to their shoot, which is a group shoot, and they will be topless, shooting in these jeans, which will be going in People magazine, apparently. I don't like that the cameraman was given free reign. Cameraman or woman, doesn't matter, were given free reign to film these girls topless. The next day, the girls are at the judging panel. This week, the panel is joined by Heatherette. This panel, the girls have to wear tight pink dresses and do a walk in shoes a few sizes too small. During the judging, this is how Janice reacts when Kelly says that she looks like a platypus.
Your body looks good, but just that face.
I look like a platypus. I'll snap out of it. This is valuable advice we're giving you. Okay, sit there and take it, honey.
They love doing this shit to Kelly. Janice makes Narelle hop on one leg in these shoes that are 2 sizes too small for her, like the villain she is. Speaking of, her photo is my favorite of the episode. It's Jennifer's turn to walk for the judges, and it turns out that she wrote ANTM on her cheeks and flashed the judges at the end of the runway. Obviously, she meant it as a joke. They didn't like that in the slightest bit. Jennifer and Christy are at the bottom too, and Christy goes home with her dress. Bye. This episode begins with 10 models remaining. They go to the first activity of the day, which is yoga with this instructor. Then Janice comes in to teach them how to pose for swimwear and in gowns. Tyra visits the girls in the house and has one-on-one chats with them. Takara is bawling her eyes out while talking about her family, and Tyra is just speaking nonsense. Kelly now thinks she's ugly because she hasn't been getting many good photos. I think she came into this competition with many insecurities, like she talked talked about before, calling herself a monkey, oh my god. But now she's talking about how her mouth looks like a snout. Oh my god, babe, stop comparing yourself to animals. What is going on? I think the judge's harshness just took her over the edge. Later, the girls go to La Perla, which is a lingerie boutique. They are separated into groups, and each group has 10 minutes to pose in the store, to pose in the window of the lingerie store. They literally don't have a bra in Takara's size, and they hide her body in this basic ass robe. Once again, I know y'all had the budget, so why not work with a brand that stocks Takara's size? Let's think. Kelly wins the challenge, and I'm so happy to hear that. This girl needed a win. So she got $5,000 worth of lingerie from the brand, and she chooses Amanda and Takara, and they get a bunch of lingerie as well. But the thing is, they obviously don't have Takara's size, so did they just give her more robes? The girls go to their next shoot, and they are rollerblading for this purse company. Most of the girls struggle on the skates. Yaya does amazing as always. I always feel the need to mention her, and so do Eva and Amanda. They do really well too. At the next panel, the girls have to pose with a male model and get their photos taken. When it's time to judge the photos, Janice truly shows her ass when she says this.
You look like you were going to throw them over your shoulders like a cave woman.
Cave woman? What the fuck is wrong with you? Cave woman? Thankfully, Tyra saves the day by pointing out how she looks great in the photo. Janice also calls Eva a quarterback. Tiny Eva, shortest of the bunch Eva, are you joking? Jennifer and Kelly are in the bottom two. Jen gets a bit of a bad rep from the judges because she apparently doesn't want it enough. She tells them that she wants this, like she keeps on telling them, and what more can you do? But the judges don't buy it, and she's the one to go home this week. The episode begins with Tyra entering the top model apartment and waking the girls up. She gives a talk about the body image pressures that the modeling industry applies onto young women. I appreciate that she's trying, but also having somebody like Janice Dickinson as a judge on your show is just so hypocritical to me because she is unabashedly fat phobic. She invites a legendary plus-sized model and friend of Tyra, Kate Dillon, to talk to the girls about her experience in the modeling industry. She talks about how she entered the modeling industry young, developed an eating disorder, quit, and then later decided to come back to the industry as a plus-sized model. A nutritionist also comes in and talks to the girls. One thing that she says that I love is that we don't need to be afraid of carbs. So Cassie does disclose to the women that she thinks she does have bulimic tendencies, and the nutritionist suggests that she sees a psychologist, which Cassie is strongly against. She's like, if what I'm doing is making me happy and I'm like reaching my goals, then why do I need to see somebody about it? It's so sad to watch, and I hope she eventually did get help for that. So Cassie is a little bit of a slob. She will cook, she'll bake, and just leave everything as a mess in the kitchen. She isn't the only one who does it, but she still does it. So Eva and Anne get pissed. They decide to play a prank on her, and they get out her brownie tray, which she just left in the kitchen, and carve something like clean up your shit into the brownie. Obviously Cassie sees this, she gets pissed, she goes around asking who the fuck did this to my brownies. No one fesses up to it, but she knows that Eva and Anne had something to do with it. Later at dinner, Anne admits it but shows no sympathy, and she brings up Cassie's eating disorder to try to prove her point. All I've got to say is, Cassie, clean up after yourself, and Anne, learn how to better communicate your feelings and not bring people's shit up trying to defend yourself. God. The first activity of the day is boot camp. Now, I did one of these when I was 15, and it was scary shit. Oh my god. I had braids. I've told this story so many times on my channel. I'll tell it again. I had braids and like these thick, long ass box braids. We had to do this like little mud crawl and poop across the fields. Dirt, horse poop. There were bull ants in it. I got bitten. It was disgusting. I was only allowed to take a 2-minute shower. So you bet there was shit in my hair the whole of the 3 days or whatever I was at that boot camp. Ugh. After they do this, they move to another location where the girls have to climb to the top of a tall-ass building 14 stories high. When they get to the top of the building, the girls have to do a photo shoot immediately. Humiliation ritual? Potentially. To be fair, the way the girls snap into it immediately is very impressive. Anyway, Yaya wins, and she chooses Takara to share the prize with her, and they get to enjoy a spa day, and the losers have to walk home. What a day. What a day. Torture. Torture. The girl's next shoot is in an airplane hangar, as you can see here. Before they start shooting, Kelly just asks Jay if she's doing bad during her shooting, he should tell her, instead of him being like, oh, you're doing great, just for her to go to panel and them to tell her that her photos sucked. So she just wants honesty, and I completely understand that. But of course that is too much for Jay, and he's like, I can't baby you. How's that baby? Is giving feedback. Isn't that what you're supposed to be doing here? Like, I get that you organize the photo shoots, but like, once you've done that, you're just here. You're supposed to be giving feedback to the girls. Like, why are you so offended by her asking that question? This show is absolutely breaking Kelly apart, both Kelly and Cassie, and for their health, they need to go home. This shit ain't worth it. So Yaya in the past was constantly told by the judges when she was shooting, you look too dancery in this photo. I see a dancer, I don't see a model. So she tries to scale it back for this airplane hangar shoot. Her photos end up being quite stiff looking, and Jay's like, where's the energy? Where's the energy? But she's just trying not to like do too much, because that's the complaint that they had before. Then after the girls are done shooting, Yaya decides to just get on the trampoline and like do the poses that she would have done if she wasn't thinking too much about that dancing critique. And Jay's like, oh my god, where was that? Where was that? That's what I was looking for. My brother in Christ, you specifically told her not to do that. I swear these judges just pull shit out of their asses and just say whatever they're feeling in the moment. Be it inconsistent or not, they don't care. Side note, I know Tyra Banks is the face of the show. I know she is the producer of this show. However, I'm tired of these random Tyra pictures that are sprayed throughout this show. What are these for? What is this doing for me? So these were the chosen photos that the girls were judged on. During panels, Kelly gets the same boring criticism without them actually telling her how to fix the issues that they have with her photos. Now, one criticism the judges consistently have for black girls on this show is that your nostrils are too flared. You can't pose like this, your nostrils are too flared. The amount of modeling shots that I've seen with models looking up like this and it looks delicious, it looks divine. Some people have bigger nostrils, get over it. Oh my god, not every model has to have like prissy little features. If they want the small nostrils, they'll hire the Caucasian models. Like, oh, chill. I've got a question. Do you think Tyra Banks purposefully stands a foot taller than the other girls on this little like panel she's standing on so that she can feel more powerful, so she can look down on them? Because I'm just looking at these shots, I'm thinking back to English class. It's like, oh, why is the shot framed like this? Anne and Kelly are in the bottom two, and it's for pretty much the same reason. The judges say they are stunning girls, they just don't photograph well. Kelly unfortunately doesn't make it through this time and she gets sent home. The girls meet up with Tyra, who tells them they'll be doing go-sees. And a go-see is sort of a casting. Like, the girls go with their portfolios. I usually just go with a little com card with one photo of me, my measurements, my age, agency I'm with, whatever. You try some clothes on, you walk for the client. They get back to your agency as to whether or not they would like to hire you or not. With these go-sees, personality is a huge thing that are critiqued. She gives them portfolios with all the pictures they've taken so far. The girl who gets the best feedback will be giving a rack of clothes from each of the designers that they'll be seeing that day. The girls are late because Amanda forgot to bring heels like they were told to, and she has to do a quick shopping trip. For whatever reason, a bunch of the girls follow her and they also do some shopping. Some of the girls didn't go to the shopping trip, but they all had to go in at the same time, so the group was late as a result, which really sucks. Anyways, the girls get there and this man who looks like this critiques Eva for having a piggy nose. Yeah, I would be mad too if I looked like that. Don't piss me off. Some of the designers that they go to have no clothes at all that fit Takara, and the designers are like, oh, well, there's nothing we can do. Yeah, there literally is. You could make your clothes in bigger sizes. Also, I understand, product of the time, whatever. Tyra and the rest of the producers should have exclusively gone with brands that could cater to all the girls that they chose for this season. Like, why would you not do that? Yet another issue I have with the judges, the photographers, the stylists on this show is that they do not treat these girls as people with feelings. They treat them like robots who are just supposed to heed to their instructions and put them into practice straight away, but obviously that's not how life works. If their walking is so shitty, if their posing is so shitty, then show them how to do it. Teach them. Get up there and demonstrate for me. But more than half the time, they won't, and simply because they can't. The Lost designer Mark Bauer tells Cassie that her hips and waist are too big for his line. Really great for the girl with the eating disorder to hear. I understand this is a norm in the fashion industry, and obviously Cassie is aware of this too, but it shouldn't be like that. Another day they go meet up with Miss J, and then Mr. J comes out in drag and tells them that they will be shooting as two completely different personalities today. Cassie sees this and is like, gross, we don't have stuff like this in Oklahoma. Girl, we get it. You're from Oklahoma. Cassie's and their Oklahomas. Anywho, the girls go at it. The photographer's a little creepy. The stylist is going off at Takara because she can't fucking do her job right and is making it Takara's problem. And Takara gets really just like sad and upset. You can see this is really weighing on her, and it sucks to see because she is one of the most confident, most positive girls in this house. At the next panel, we have our visuals, and we have our regular judges plus Mark Bauer. I loved Eva, Narelle, and Yaya's shoot. The judges didn't like Takara's photo. I thought it was amazing. She looks incredible in that blue. It's giving Marilyn Monroe. I'm sure that was the vision. Thankfully, Takara is given a chance, but unfortunately, Cassie does go home. And she did have a lot of family stuff going on anyway. She wasn't really enjoying her time, so I think it was the perfect time for her to leave. At the start of the episode, Tyra is having a heart-to-heart with her mother as she's concerned that Cassie has been having these issues and didn't want to be helped. This scene is filmed in such a way that positions the audience to feel sorry for Tyra, but I'm confused. You didn't end up helping the girl. Granted, she didn't want your help, but you sent her back on a plane to Oklahoma. So what are you here crying for to your mom? Like, why was this scene needed? With 7 girls remaining, Yaya tries to reiterate what the literal nutritionist told them earlier about how low-carb diets are a gimmick. And now Anne thinks she's a bitchy know-it-all. I will say, Yaya, she's a very, very intelligent girl. She's an Ivy League graduate. She does have like know-it-all tendencies. I can see why some of the things that these girls hear her say can come across as pretentious. I see where the girls are coming from. I still love Yaya. Later, the girls are visited by a stylist and 2 publicists to teach them about image. The woman dressed like this and critiquing the girls' outfits is so comical to me. Camp Rock is around the corner, baby girl. Later, the girls end up at Century 21, which was a little outlet store for designer brands. The same stylist is there and tells them that they have 15 minutes to put together a daytime look. The girls then have to go home, put their clothes on, and prep for an event that they're going to later. The girls walk into the event and it's photographers shooting them paparazzi style. They walk across a red carpet and they also get asked some stage interview questions. Yaya does really well in my opinion, so do the rest of the girls, but when Narelle gets asked who the most annoying girl in the house is, she's like, Yaya? Girl, that was an obvious setup. Why would you say that? Never give names. Anyways, the girls are debriefing later and Narelle tells Yaya that she gave her name when she was asked who the most annoying girl in the house was. The reporter is judging the girls and Yaya, of course, gets called a diva. I feel like she was so polite.
I'm wearing mostly moschino today.
Who's the person you have the biggest problem with in the house?
I don't have a problem with anyone.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank
Nice
you.
meeting you.
Even though this is cut, and I'm sure she got asked more questions, if she was being a diva, surely they would have put it in. They would have showed us. I truly think this was a setup on the producer's end. Now that Kelly's gone, they need a new dark-skinned diva, and Takara's too polite for them to set her up, so this is what we're left with. You can't gaslight me. Anyways, Yaya still wins this challenge. I mean, no real surprise there. She's truly a natural when it comes to modeling, and she's just so personable as well. She picks Narelle to share the prize with and to make her more approachable to Narelle since she called her standoffish before. She's better than me. She is better than me. I would not have done that. However, I will say she did make the best move, probably in an attempt to destroy this diva narrative that they're trying to push onto her. The girls' next shoot is a diamond beauty shoot with a tarantula. The girls are pretty good, aside from Eva, who starts crying while she's getting her makeup done. She clearly has a phobia, which nobody's taking seriously. She does go on to do the shoot. She does ball out crying in the middle of it though, and her shoot has to be cut short. These are the pictures. Later that night at panel, we have our usual suspects plus that celebrity stylist that can't dress from earlier. So for tonight's challenge, the girls have a choice of 5 hats, and they have a couple minutes to create an outfit to fit the hat. Here is one of the options for the hat. that. Who do you think this was set up for? I wonder whomst. I love these tarantula pictures. I swear the judges are just pulling critiques out of their asses. One of the criticisms for Takara is that the spider is covering too much of the jewelry and too much of her face. And the face, I get it, but you can't blame her for where the tarantula is placed. It's an animal, it's gonna move. Now here comes Yaya, and I knew this was going to come up. The stylist mentioned it earlier, and she repeats it again, where she says that Yaya wearing too much traditional African clothing, which she doesn't, by the way, but she says that she's overdoing it and she's trying to prove herself as African. Who are you to tell her that? They obviously put this hat out as an option because of Yaya. She goes for the cowboy hat, and of course they still think that she is overdoing her blackness or her Africanness. Yaya tries to defend herself, calmly, might I add, but of course you can't talk back to these high and mighty judges. They know everything, and an actual African is trying to educate you on her culture and why she didn't choose the headpiece that was an obvious setup for her. I find their criticism of her outfit to be very inconsistent. They start out by saying it's too African, then it's this weird mess between African and cowboy, then it's basic because every girl on the street can look like that. Pick one. Y'all just be saying anything. During panel, when it's just the judges, Tyra says that Yaya has a superior, condescending attitude. Note, Eva, who everyone actually has a problem with, has never gotten this kind of feedback from the judges, at least as far as we saw. Eva is for sure one of the judges' favorites, and I think it boils down to her having a very, very similar look to Tyra. Lighter skin, African-American, colored hair, light eyes. They have damn near the same colored eyes. I don't know. Now, Takara and Anne are in the bottom two. Apparently Takara's there because she doesn't have enough drive to be in the competition. I've said Takara is a very confident, bubbly girl, and this is like the one day her energy is low, and of course they use this excuse to put her at the bottom. Takara gets sent home, and of course she maintains her positive, bubbly attitude while she's leaving. The girls head to an acting studio to do a couple activities, including doing cold reads, and Tay Diggs shows up. This man just be doing shit.
What's it like to be a sex?
Anyways, these are the kinds of lines they have to say.
And the prognosis for reconstructive cardiomyopathy with all these illnesses.
Is this a cardiology composition all of a sudden? Anyway, Yaya wins again. That's the 4th time in a row. And I love the fact that she's getting chosen by real industry people who don't have too much to gain from this experience. I'm sure they're getting paid to be here, or maybe they're paying for product placement. I don't know. But yeah, these are real industry people choosing her. I don't know how much the producers had a hand in being like, make sure you don't pick this girl. I don't know. But this is just such a good sign for me. Tyra comes in and tells the girls that they are going to Tokyo. Yaya, as the winner, will be in first class, and she chooses Amanda to share the prize with her. I love that Yaya chooses a different girl each time. She doesn't just stick with 1 or 2 people. It's a different girl every time. She's kind of like letting the girls experience her wins too, but I feel like these are the same girls that will be talking shit about her later for being too pretentious. So over in Tokyo, the girls do a little Japanese ritual, and then they head to their accommodation, and the girls will be staying in capsule hotels. I actually stayed at one of these when I was in Malaysia last year, and it was really cute, very, very affordable, and it felt like I was in a spaceship. It was such a cool experience, so I'd recommend it. Anyways, the girls are off to their next shoot, which is a commercial for Campbell's Soup, where they have to speak Japanese, but thankfully there is a script and they have cue cards while they're filming. So the girls are shooting in this stunning Japanese garden. Yaya's eye makeup here is so beautiful, looks so stunning on her. It actually inspired my little pink moment today. Not nearly as glamorous, but I tried. Okay, I tried. I'm so bad with eyeshadow. Yaya does really well. Ava has a bit of trouble with it though, and so does Norel. At the next panel, we have our normal judges. I hate Janice, and we also have the commercial director that they worked with earlier, Zente Yoshi. For this week's panel challenge, the girls have to do a sort of makeshift commercial, and they have to eat this cultural Japanese food, and it has like sort of a strong taste by the way these girls are reacting. And Yaya makes a mistake of chewing the food, laughing, and spitting it out, which of course is considered very disrespectful. I was gonna say in Japanese culture, but anywhere around the world, do not spit out food that is provided to you, especially if you are supposed to be shooting a commercial. Like, she already had the diva tag, so this is just not making her case any better. Anyways, during judging, they forget Nicole, and this is the 2nd time in this episode this has happened. So Yaya and Nicole are in the bottom 2, and Nicole goes home. I was very much expecting this. This entire episode was building up to these two being at the bottom. Tyra tells Yaya that she needs to be more humble 1 billion times. So episode 10 is just a recap episode. I'd say watch it if you want a bit more context around the relationships that these girls have. Now there are 5 girls remaining: Eva, Yaya, Narelle, Anne, and Amanda. Now, Anne dislikes Eva all of a sudden, which is crazy because just a couple episodes ago, she was screaming and crying about how she was literally gonna have her at her wedding. So what happened between now and then? Afterwards, they meet up with a tea ceremony instructor who teaches them the ins and outs of tea ceremonies, which they are then judged on. The girls do all right. There's a lot of steps to this particular ceremony. However, Yaya wins again, taking Amanda with her to this stunning hot spring spa and a beautiful dinner. At night, the girls all get together for some rooftop drinks, and Tyra walks in and talks to them about how they're going in the house, how they're getting along, and she preaches about sisterhood and how important it is to get along. As soon as Tyra leaves, Anne has a go at Eva for implying that she wanted Narelle to leave instead of her. Yaya soon joins, and while I understand these sentiments, ganging up on somebody is never the answer. Eva apologizes, but Anne just keeps going. Then Eva's like, girl, you have talked shit about Narelle too. Like, what the fuck are you even saying? You're just angry at me for whatever reason. In her confessional, Anne starts talking about how she feels bad for Narelle, and then immediately starts talking about herself and comparing herself to Eva. Anyways, the next day, the girls go on to do their next shoot, which is a T-Mobile one, but before they start, Tyra shoots first, and she's modeling, taking these photos while coaching them. Then it's the girls' turn. Outside, Narelle and Eva have a little heart-to-heart. It's a very mature conversation, and they end up making up. At this week's panel, the girls' challenge is to walk on this catwalk with a kimono, and they have to do it fashionably, yet respectfully. So their lost photo shoots are getting judged. They also penalize Eva for not showing enough emotion like during the panel, not even during her shoot. And it's crazy because these girls are just not allowed to have off days. Anyways, the girls in the bottom 2 are Anne and Narelle. Narelle does get sent home this week. I just feel like Anne has been given so many chances, and I really expected her to go home this episode. I think the reason she's been given so many chances is because she really fits the look of the model. She's like 5'11", very athletic build, insanely gorgeous in the face. I think it was Ford Models that really wanted her. I don't know how much these modeling agencies have a say in this show, but Oliver was interviewing Anne years after the show. She said that I believe it was Ford Models that wanted her. I'm also quite upset that right after one of the judges, I think she was a Japanese fashion designer, she said that Narelle's look would do really, really well in Japan, and they're in Japan at this current moment. She gets booted out the same panel. Did they keep Anne because they wanted one more showdown between her and Eva? At the beginning of the episode, Ava and Amanda are being pick-me's.
I don't wear makeup unless I go to the bar.
I don't wear makeup either. I don't wear makeup.
Now you do, and you know damn well you put it on every day.
The girls then go to get educated on Tokyo street style, and they create their own outfits, which, girl, this weather just did not go how I wanted it, but if you can see the screen, I'm so sorry, guys. If you can see the screen, these are the girls here, and these are the outfits they made up. Next, the girls have to run around Tokyo, each with the address to 4 clothing stores, where they're given 20,000 yen to spend in these stores and create an outfit. Off they go, and Amanda chooses to stick with one store just to be safe, especially with her visual impairment. Eva and Anne run into each other during the challenge, and they decide to put their bullshit aside and help each other find their next stores. Also, these girls have no spatial or social awareness, especially Eva. She's just screaming in these streets.
Where is Americans? He looks American. Look at his glasses. You speak English?
And especially in some, I mean, I've never been to Japan, but I've heard that people generally don't have this kind of behavior in public. Now, Yaya gets finished up shopping early, but she makes the poor decision to grab a kimono and ends up getting to the store just in time, but misreads the instructions to go into one of the back rooms to meet the rest of the girls. She ends up being 2 minutes late. She can't participate. Her outfit will not be judged, and she just has to go home. The girls were very happy about that. I wonder if Yaya would have won this challenge. Eva ends up winning and chooses Anne to share the prize with, which is breakfast with a mystery fashion industry giant. The guest turns out to be Toyohito Mikimoto, and his name is literally in the big-ass bougie-ass building that they're in. He owns a very high-end jewelry brand. They have breakfast, then go downstairs for their second surprise, and they each get pearl necklaces. For their next shoot, they head to hair and makeup and get some Harajuku-inspired looks done. The girls will be shooting on the streets of Tokyo on these motorbikes. Amanda goes up first first and she does amazing, and Yaya's turns up next, and Miss J is like, leave your education back there. We don't want intelligent models. We want clever models, whatever the fuck that means. Eva's up next, and she does really, really well in my opinion. Jay's complaining, but when is he not? Posing just comes so naturally to her. I love watching her work. It's Anne's turn, and she starts to struggle a little bit. She even ends up crying, but eventually she does get it together and finishes off the shoot. The next day, Tyra and her mom visits the girls and talks to them about their feelings and how they're going. Tyra's mom is so comforting and sweet. Literally all the girls cry, but it's so heartbreaking because this competition so far has clearly taken such a toll on them, but this is a really, really sweet and seemingly genuine moment. Later, the girls have dinner with even more of Tyra's family, which is kind of funny because like, what do all these people have in common? There's like 5-year-old kids here, there's grandmas and grandpas here, and then these 20-year-old models. What are they going to talk about? Anyways, we are now at another panel, and for this week's challenge, the girls have 10 minutes to change into clothes that display their personal street style. Yaya gets penalized for being late to the go-sees, but the judges generally like the outfit that she put together, and they like her photo as well. For Amanda, they like her outfit in general, and they love her photo, and they don't like her outfit, and they criticize her for not being smiley. The girl is obviously physically and mentally tired. She cries again, and they do tell her that her photo's good, but for being at this stage in the competition, it is not good enough. Eva's outfit they like once they tweak it a little, and her photo I love. I love her face, I love her pose. I just really like this photo, but the judges do criticize it. They just don't think it's strong enough. So while the judges are deliberating, Anne, frustrated at some of the comments the judges made, starts a fight with Eva for no reason, and they are in a separate room. She attacks her character, and once Eva starts to speak for herself, she's like, no, stop, you're being too defensive. You're being defensive. Now listen, this could just be Anne's edit. This may not be super true to her personality. She could have just said this stuff out of frustration. I get that these girls are constantly criticized. You're young, you're living in a room with so many models, you haven't seen your family in ages, you don't have a phone on you. I found out through interviews that these girls are filming for most of the day. You are barely getting any sleep. You cannot speak to anybody if the cameras are off. So I get like the tension. Amanda gets picked first, then Yaya, leaving Eva and Anne at the bottom too. Anne is sent home this week, and she proceeds to hug all the girls except for Eva. And while Anne's walking out, Eva's like, bye Nana. She had the puppy dog look on her face. She looked so sad. Later, Anne's like, yeah, Eva will be mad, but if she lets that get in the way of our friendship, we were never meant to be friends. After you criticize her, didn't apologize, didn't hug her. Okay, you don't just get to treat people however you want and expect them to stay friends with you, you goofball. The final episode starts, and the three girls are back home and reeling from the recent elimination. Amanda mentioned that Eva had been self-centered during her and Anne's friendship, and that she treated Anne like trash the whole time. I wish they showed more of that. Like, I wish we had stuff to back this up, because I don't know if she's just pulling this out of her ass because she doesn't like Eva. But then again, Yaya doesn't like Eva either, so I just don't know what to believe, because yes, Eva has said some shitty stuff, but so have all of these girls. Then why are they forgiving each other but not Eva? I don't know. This episode, the girls are doing their CoverGirl beauty shoots, and whoever wins the competition, this is the photo shoot that will kickstart their careers, as it's literally going on the cover of CoverGirl magazine. The girls' faces are just perfect for these beauty shoots. They all did amazing, and for once, Jay agrees. One thing I also heard about Jay from these Oliver Twist interviews was that Mr. J is apparently really, really nice, and behind the scenes, like when the cameras would cut, he would speak to the girls like they were just friends or just pals. Cameras were off, he was always nice, always had only positive things to say about these girls. It was Anne who said these things, and as of 2021, when this interview came out, they are still really good friends, Anne and Jay. Next, the girls are off to a go-see for Noriko Fukushima, a major Japanese fashion designer. They try on some gorgeous, gorgeous clothing, but only 2 of them will be remaining to wear these clothes for a fashion show later. The girls head to the second last elimination of the cycle. Their photos are perfect, and the judges agree for once. The judges struggle when deliberating. I have never seen these people struggle so much. It's elimination time, and Yaya is chosen first, and spoiler, as you can see, Amanda was the one to go home. This shocked the hell out of me. I was sure Amanda was actually gonna get chosen first because they've consistently loved her, but hey, 2 black queens, I won. What can I say? The two girls head to the Noriko Fukushima show. This is a real runway, so thankfully the girls are able to show up at the same time as the other models, and they get to do rehearsals and see the stage. The girls do amazing, and the show goes off without a hitch. Right after the show, the girls head to a panel, and the judges go through every single one of the girls' photos up until this point. And wow, these girls have been consistently incredible. During deliberation, the judges are really struggling once again. Both these girls are incredibly strong with posing and walking, and they are so personable. They're both so likable, and the judges can admit that. So the winner is
Eva.
It just got so dark. I'm so sorry. But where are they now? Fun fact, while filming this cycle, the girls almost didn't make it into Japan. The girls were told a story. They were told to not tell, the Japanese traveling officials in the airport that they were traveling for a show. They told them to say that they were visiting their boyfriend or something like that. I think it was Eva and Anne that couldn't get the story straight. These airport officials thought that they were prostitutes, so they sent the girls to Guam, and I think they had to sleep there for a night while they were waiting for all their approvals to go through. And yeah, apparently the girl slept on a floor in Guam. This is a story that Nicole told on her Oliver Twixt interview, and I was shook. Eva did incredible post Next Top Model. She was obviously signed with Ford Models. That was part of her prize. She shot for Samsung, Apple Bottoms, Elle. She was managed for Tyre for a bit, but has since then dropped Ford and is signed to LA Models. She did also get into acting a little bit. Actually, Taye Diggs gave her her first acting role. She was on Everybody Hates Chris, Smallville. She was also in music videos and films, and now she is a Real Housewives girly. So Ava really became a top model, and I personally have never really got into Real Housewives. Tell me, like seriously tell me, should I try to watch it? So looking up Yaya after I finished the cycle blew my mind a little bit, because I realized I have seen her before. She's in one of the movies that I really like. It's an action comedy. It's called The Nice Guys. I've watched that film so many times and I never connected the dots. That's crazy. I googled her and her links were purple. I was like, I've been here before. Yaya goes on to have an amazing career after Top Model. She shot for Garnier, Sephora, W Magazine, Tom Ford. She was in The Simpsons, House, Ugly Betty, Tron Legacy, The Nice Guys. She even starred as Whitney Houston in a biopic directed by Angela Bassett. Fun fact, she's also a doula. When I've watched interviews of Eva and Takara, they always hail Tyra and America's Next Top Model for changing their lives. Yaya is the only one that has called out ANTM publicly. She did so indirectly in an Instagram post back in 2018, saying, "It took a lot of work to heal from that experience, and looking back, I feel so much for that eager, vulnerable, young version of myself." Yaya is no doubt now one of my favorites. 20 years later, the woman has not aged. Love her down. Now, Amanda went on to do a bit of modeling after the show. In 2005, she was in a Levi's campaign with other models with visual impairment. Her son has also now grown up and he is a model. And as of 2020, she is not yet completely blind, but she obviously still has very limited vision. So for Anne, the first thing I did was go to her Instagram, and holy shit, she has only gotten better looking with age. It's insane. She is so beautiful. Anne went to do a shit ton of modeling after the show. She was signed to the Elite Modeling Agency after Top Model, and now she's signed with Wilhelmina. She's modeled for L'Oreal, GQ, Cosmopolitan, and according to her IMDb, she has been in Maid of Honor and The Good Wife. So Norelle actually did end up working in Japan. She was signed to New Models and Dream Models, and in 2021, she was interviewed by Oliver Twixt. Honestly, I haven't even finished the interview because I feel like she was being quite rude when talking about the girls on the show in that interview, and I just wasn't having it. Now, I don't have a lot on Nicole because she didn't do a whole heap of modeling once Top Model was finished. However, in an interview with Oliver Twixt, she revealed that in her exit interview from the show, she went off about how modeling isn't hard and that this is why actresses were replacing them on magazine covers. This is actually something that Tyra Banks had complained about at the beginning of the cycle, where she said actresses are replacing us on magazines. It should should be the models on the covers of magazines, and she didn't like that. She's like, we need to work hard, girls, so we can get back on the cover. And Nicole brought this up in her exit interview because she was mad that she was essentially booted off the show because she had no personality. But she did, and she felt like this is a reason that they made up so that they could kick her off the show, because she was also vegan and she didn't want to use the CoverGirl products, which were tested on animals at the time. She also revealed that she had a shit ton of her clips, like a whole bunch of her clips, cut out and not put in the final episodes of the show. She even ran into an editor of the show a while later, and she told her that, like, you don't know me, I know you. I was one of the editors behind the scenes on the show you were on, and we had to scrap so much of your clips. I personally loved your personality, but the message came from the higher ups. So essentially, Nicole did have a personality, but they edited that out. Takara went on to sign with LA Models and Wilhelmina. She had a whole spread in Vogue Italia. She appeared in Girlfriends, The Tyra Banks Show, and Think Like a Man. She's also hosted a couple of shows on BET. Here is a picture of her from 2013 with some guy. Are we locked in? This way, this way. Okay, that's enough. And yeah, those are where the main girls of the show ended up. Can you even see that? It says thanks for watching. Oh my god. Let me get out of the frame so you can see it. So that was my video on cycle 3 of America's Next Top Model. What did you think of this cycle? Have you watched it recently? What are your thoughts on all these girls? Are there any fun facts about these girls or this cycle that I missed? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to follow me on my social medias. They will be at the end of the video and below in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye!